Thanks for coming. So we have a lot of presentations tonight, and if nothing else, you guys are all going to learn what each other has to offer. So if a business comes in to talk to you and maybe you don't have anything to help them with, you will be able to know what else in Union County there is available. And so thank you for coming. If you're hungry, there's some food right here. And make sure that you get any handouts in the back that you need. And we will also be emailing you. As long as you sign in, we'll email you a copy of all the contact lists so that you can pass those out or email them on to somebody else that might be interested in a business. Thank you, first of all, for all that you all do. So I'm Donna Beveridge, Union County Commissioner, and a group of us are putting this together. City of LeGrand, Timothy Bishop, right there, who's the Economic Development Director, and Scott Newman with the Union County Chamber, and also helping with business and tourism, and Tucker Billman in the back, OTEC, and Eastern Oregon EO Alive with Brent is back there. Looks like he's having dinner. So anyway, we all care about Union County, we care about our businesses, and we just, maybe some people are watching at home, we hope for that, and it'll also be available after tonight for people to watch. So make sure that if you have a list of people with questions on what's available in Union County, that you tell them to watch EO Alive and look for it. So we're going to start out. Our first presenter tonight is, I will let you do that, Scott. Go for it.
Taking time. Oh, there we go. Sorry. All right, our first speaker tonight will be from the USDA Rural Development, LaDon McElligott.
Good evening, everybody. I'm LaDon McElligott. I'm with USDA Rural Development here in LeGrand. Our agency works with everybody in a small community. We're pretty rural in what we do, but we have programs that help with housing, community programs. Those are the ones I work, which is your water, sewer, fire, police, community centers in your small communities. And the other leg of us is our business programs, which is what I'm going to go through with you tonight. I don't actually work those programs, so I'm not as familiar with them, but we're going to go through some of the ones that could benefit the small businesses in this area. The first one we have is a socially disadvantaged group grant program. And that is to support technical assistance and training to socially disadvantaged business groups in a rural community. You could, by doing that or obtaining that grant, you can do leadership training, feasibility studies, business plans, strategic plans. Eligibility, who's eligible for those are groups of cooperatives, individual cooperatives, and cooperative development centers. So it would be some kind of a cooperative that would apply for the grant that would then go out to provide leadership opportunities to the small businesses within their location of wherever they're working out of. Those applications for those are open one time per year. They're announced through our Federal Register. The other grant that is pretty popular and it gets used a lot is the Rural Business Development Grant. It supports technical assistance and training also for small businesses. And these businesses need to be smaller than 50 people and with an income of less than $1 million in gross revenues. These funds can be used to establish business centers, provide job training, leadership development, support targeted technical assistance, training, feasibility studies, and similar activities. Eligibility, towns can apply, communities, state agencies, authorities, nonprofits, federally recognized tribes, rural communities. And again, it's more the nonprofits that apply for those grants to then come out and help the small businesses within their communities for that. That application period is open one time a year also, usually in February. The other one that can help small businesses is a rural cooperative development grant. It supports the creation, expansion, or improvement of rural cooperatives and mutually owned businesses. Again, feasibility studies, business plans, leadership, operational training, strategic planning. Eligibility for that is nonprofits and institutions of higher education. Application window is once per year. Value-added producers grant. This is one that's specifically for farmers and ranchers, because this supports the development and marketing of new products. So somebody who is a dairy could take their milk and turn it into cheese, grapes into wine, livestock into packaged meats, wheat into flour. So independent producers, ag operators, farmer and ranch cooperatives, majority-controlled producer-based business ventures. And that offers a planning grant up to $75,000. And with that, you could do that for a feasibility study or for a business plan for your new venture. It also offers a working capital grant up to $250,000 to pay for processing costs, marketing and advertising costs, and possibly some inventory and sales expenses. So that's a really popular program. We're oversubscribed to that every year. But that's a one-time-a-year program that gets put out, and they take applications in from all over the U.S., and then they're scored and ranked, and funds are dispersed. And that usually comes out in February also. We have an intermediary relending program, and this, it's a loan program that, let's see, over here, like Northeast Oregon Economic Development would take on one of these loans. And what they would do is then they reloan that money out to the small businesses in the communities. So a lot of times it can be used for purchase, construction, expansion of a small business, development of land, purchase of equipment or machinery, startup costs, working capital. And so eligibility would be the nonprofits, cooperatives, tribes, and public agencies. And again, they set up this loan program to reloan that money out to small businesses. And these businesses can be individuals, they could be public entities, they could be private, and everywhere over here on the east side of the state, population-wise eligible. And those application deadlines are usually due every quarter. Rural micro, we have an RMAP, so it's a Rural Micro Entrepreneur Assistance Program. Again, this is for smaller operations where the loans are $50,000 to $500,000, so pretty small. They do provide some grants, I think would go to a nonprofit to provide training and technical assistance, again, to those small businesses. Eligibility, nonprofits, tribes, institutions of higher education, and applications there are accepted year-round. The energy programs, and this is a direct program for small businesses. So this one, I don't know if any of the businesses in the room have taken this up, but it's an energy program. It's called the Rural Energy for America program. Part of it can be a grant, or if you're doing a larger project, you can do a grant and a loan combination on there. You can do energy audits, renewable energy development grants, support and adopt renewable energy and energy and efficiency improvements. Small rural businesses are eligible, agricultural producers are eligible. So this can be within your business, you could be looking to change out your lighting for more efficient lighting, your heating, your cooling systems, ventilation, fans, insulation even. Or you could be looking to install solar panels or, you know, wind, small hydroelectric. All of those kind of things are eligible under that program. So it gets used a lot. We do a lot of smaller type grants. They could range from $5,000 to $20,000. And then there we do some where we're combining those with a loan for a larger type project. So yeah, in 2020 alone, we did $10.1 million in guarantees in that program and $1 million in grants. And our main program under business programs is the Business and Industry Guarantee Loan. So that's, a business, if they're needing money to purchase a business, to expand a business, you would go and talk to your local lender to actually get a loan through them. And then the lender would come to us for a guarantee. And what that does is it takes away a lot of the risk to that lender. So if you're a newer startup or maybe your financials just aren't that great, you know, a lot of times the lenders want a guarantee because we can guarantee up to 80%. So it takes away a lot of the risk of the lenders. And again, that can be, you know, business enlargement, repairs, modernization, buying equipment, purchasing land, installing machinery, even some debt refinance can be done under that program. So and the lenders who are eligible for that are, you know, any lender basically that's insured by FDIC, farm credit banks, the credit unions are eligible for that program. And then the ultimate recipients are the small businesses, which can range from for-profit businesses to nonprofit businesses, sometimes public bodies or just individuals. And that program there, the guarantee program, we went through kind of a reorganization under that program to make it simpler. Whereas before, all of our programs have guarantees. I have guarantee programs with my water and my sewer and my CF and single family housing. And so what they did is they did a one guarantee loan initiative where basically we have one set of regulations for all the programs. So it's easier for the lenders. So that's that's pretty much the extent of the programs that we have for our business programs and our small businesses in our rural areas. Do you guys have any questions? I do have a handout on the back table. It's a matrix that outlines all of the programs for business. And then it's got the contact information on there for our program director and the specialists who are around the states. So if there isn't any questions, then I will let you go on to your next speaker, and we can continue this evening. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you, LaDon. Let's not do that. All right, our next speaker is from the Oregon Department of Energy, Casey Radcliffe.
Oh, there's me. Hey. Oh, okay. Hey. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Casey Radcliffe. I live in Pendleton, so got up over the hill today to come see you. Thank you so much for the invitation. So I'm with the Oregon Department of Energy. You may not have heard of us because there's not a lot of us out here. I'm working to change that. We are a state energy office, and we work on a wide range of energy issues. Homes, businesses, your communities. Our job is to provide you technical assistance, education, work on policies and programs to support innovation, sustainability, and a just transition in energy, local and statewide. So before I kind of kick off some more specific programs, one thing that I think is really important about the work we do in state government is that we know that there's a lot of federal money coming our way. We don't know everything about it, but we do know that much of it is targeted towards local government, communities, nonprofits, community-based organizations. So we are working really hard to get that information, break down the complexity of what that money means, so that you are able to access that funding and be able to be successful to bring that large amount of money to your community. So I just want to give you some examples. Energy efficiency. So this is basic stuff about reducing your heating, your lighting, your overall building to reduce your energy bill, save you some money along the way. There's a program that they are kind of reinvigorating, and it's called the Block Grant Program. Local government and communities can access that money and use it directly. I actually got my start in energy under Block Grant working for a local county in Washington. We did waste reduction projects. We renovated our county offices and jail. This was real money that we got on the ground to use and formulate based on our community's vision and needs. So that is a large amount coming that we're going to kind of get information ready that you can have access to. We're also doing weatherization. That's important in any home, but especially in low-income communities. It's really hard if you put in new lighting and a new heating system and you've got a hole in your roof, no insulation. Weatherization is the key to keeping homes safe and healthy. So weatherization money is coming, it's needed in our community. So that's another block. We're also doing resiliency. So that is in the event of an outage, whether it's a snowstorm, a big blackout, a fire, how can we make our buildings stand alone during short periods of time? A place like here, how can we make sure that the community can gather, be protected, have reliable energy, water during those issues? And then lastly is workforce. So we have auditor training and workforce development money coming. So letting you know that we understand the pipeline of people who can do this work, whether it's an HVAC contractor, equipment installer, money coming for training and development so that the next generation is ready to really get on the forefront of this work. So our job here is to make sure that you on the ground know what's happening with all those big mechanisms and try to get you information quickly. We're getting our website updated. There's some materials in the slides for that. And really wanting to make sure you know that we're going to be in contact, letting you know what's going on there. So that's kind of more about the big stuff and hopefully our role in creating a conversation across all of the complexities of government and funding that are available. So I'm going to talk a little bit on the next slide about some specific programs. I'm really excited. There are some other colleagues here that work in energy. We have some new programs that I think fit in some niches of programmings and services that wasn't really available before. First is our Solar Plus Storage program. So if you are a residential customer or maybe you own residential buildings, you are eligible for $5,000 to reduce the cost of your solar, plus another $2,500 if you put paired storage. And what that means is we recognize that having solar in your building is a really good way to save energy, but if you don't have a way to store it, that energy moves back to the utility, which is great, and that helps all of our community, but doesn't give you that opportunity to have a backup power system in case of an outage. So pairing solar and storage together, so basically a battery pack that saves some of that energy for you, is a way of increasing your resiliency, having a redundant power system for short periods of time. We also know that low-income service providers should have access to the same technology. So we've created another set of funding for small business, large commercial that is actually providing services to low-income members and communities. There's lots of technical jargon about what a provider is, but I want you to know that there is a residential and low-income service provider. And these are rebate programs. We were so successful in the first round of those. We were authorized for brand new funding again because the need is really high. We opened our applications and they filled up in the first day. So I think we're seeing success here, and as a rebate program, you don't have to wait. There's not the tax credit. These are direct rebates to you and the community. We also have higher incentives and set-asides for what we call environmental justice communities, and that's a very broad definition. rural communities are in that. And so everyone out here is eligible, which means more money and money set aside only for the communities that qualify under that. We also have the wildfire rebuilding program. We had obviously a lot of communities affected by the 2020 wildfires. We have provided incentives for people to rebuild to code. So normally with energy programs, you have to build a little bit above to get a little bit of extra to help you kind of meet that mark. Here, just rebuilding alone, bringing you back to the community, getting you back on the ground, getting you going. We have those incentives, and then higher for above code, which again allows you kind of to build back in a way that's maybe more efficient, less costly. So those range a lot. You'll see it's $3,000 to $12,000, and it's based on what you're building, your income, and this is really focused on getting those community members and businesses back in the community and getting the community going again. Our Community Renewable Energy Grant Program. So this is for local government, tribes, public bodies, utilities, and why I wanted to bring it to the Small Business Summit. We had an application that just closed, and those awardees have been notified, and many of them are partnering with businesses to create development centers. So what we've seen there is that whether you're constructing or planning for renewable energy or resilience, the best partnerships are those who actually are looking at public-private partnerships. How do we develop community centers, maybe interconnections in the community that allow us to not only build and plan together, but move energy or store or save energy as a community, and you can't do it without that partnership across public and private. And so I want to let you know that program, if that's of interest, I'm sure your local commissioners, your city council would be glad to talk to you about that. And our most successful applicants did have diverse partnerships when they applied. We just closed the first round of funding. There's another $38 million of funding that's going to come through in 3 more cycles. So this is a lot. It's up to $100,000 for just planning and $1 million for construction. So there's planning money here to actually get your plan together so then you can then apply for a construction grant with our program. And we're also refining this program based on this first wave to make sure that people feel like they can apply and be successful. One thing I was really excited today to talk about was our Rural and Agricultural Energy Audit Program. This is for rural agricultural producers and small businesses. We were just talking to somebody the other day who has a chain of small kind of travel lodge hotels, and they asked, am I eligible for this? Yeah, you're a small business, you're in a rural community, you get support. So what was really neat about the USDA program, we're actually helping bring the cost of your audit, which is how you assess what your energy saving potential is. We actually will bring that cost down to 75%. Some utilities can give you that little extra 25 to get you to a full 100% to get the audit done so you actually know how well your business is doing. This is equipment, processing, operations, maybe your campus, even if you're just thinking about renovating, but you don't even know where to start. What are the priorities? What projects will save you money? What projects are good to start now versus the long term? An audit is really the first place to start. And so we want to really get you to get that audit in, know what your potential is, and then you can work with programs like the USDA program to have funding for the actual work. I wanted to let you know about that one. We've had a lot of agriculture producers looking at irrigation modernization. That's also been a big one through the program, all the way to farmers who have family farms that are looking at modernizing some of their equipment processing, maybe been saving up for a new system, and they want to know, what can I do to leverage what I can save now to buy that newer piece of equipment in the future. And then heat pump incentives. So basically what we're doing here is providing a more efficient and more reliable source of heating. I will speak from my own experience. I have a room that had all baseboards at the bottom, that had 1 million spider webs in them. Every time I turned them on, it smelled like it was gonna light on fire. A heat pump is a way that I could convert from a very expensive and not super safe heating system. I put this ductless heat pump in, it's super reliable, it gives me a really comfortable version of heating. It also is all electric, so it's 100% efficient. This is a brand new program, so we have grants to each region. So each region gets their own pot of money. Greater Eastern Oregon is one, and it's to install heat pumps and actually get the heat pumps in the building for community members in need. And so what we say when we say in need, low income and vulnerable community members will be at the top of this list. We also have a rebate for contractors to work with rental units. And so for any of you that are in real estate, or you know people that are landlords, or you're renting and you're in a unit, we will have a separate set of money for rentals, and that includes manufactured homes and RVs. I think we take it pretty seriously that the heat that we've had over the last couple years is pretty dangerous. And so heat pumps actually give you cooling as well, and a form of heating that can replace some of those systems that are not great. So that's a brand new program, we just started it. And I also want to mention that with that, there is a cooling center study and program support to help communities where when you can't do it at home, maybe you can't do it with your tenants or your residential community, getting communities set up for cooling centers so they're ready for those extreme heat events. So I know that's a lot. It'll get emailed to you, but we're excited. These are kind of these custom programs to support a lot of the work that your utilities, energy service providers, and local contractors are already doing. So we're just kind of filling the gaps there for you. And then lastly, on the next slide, thanks. Energy education and technical assistance. If you've ever had questions about energy, why did the transmission lines sited where they are? Why do homes or businesses get renovated, or when they don't? What is our overall plan for energy? Even, we've written a section about what's on my energy bill. What do all those codes and numbers mean? What drives our energy costs? Why are some costs stable? Why are some higher? Our job is here to answer your questions. So we have 101s, we have kind of technology reviews, and we really get into the considerations and trade-offs when we're making decisions about energy as a community, all the way to your home. And so if you're a business and you want help with an audit or how to bring your energy costs down, if you want to look at support for residents and landlords, planning for your community, we can talk with you over feasibility and planning projects. There's some amazing work happening in rural communities around energy planning. The local community is actually getting together and setting a vision for what they want, whether that be resilience, affordability, workforce development. So we are here to help you, provide you best resources, get you in contact with other communities who are doing this work. And then lastly, again, coming back to industrial and ag, looking at processes, equipment, and systems to make sure that your businesses, your livelihoods are protected, saving money, and on the edge of innovation so they're able to take advantage of some of the best opportunities that are out there. So I know you'll hear today that there's a lot going on in energy, but it is a special time. We have new money, we have some innovative stuff happening in the region. I was just at a conference earlier today, and I think what's happening out here is setting a standard for really collaborative, cutting-edge work. And so hopefully we can be part of that, and also give us feedback of where we need to do better, and we can provide you information to support your goals. So thank you, really appreciate it, and I'll leave some flyers on the back table.
All right, thank you very much. Our next speaker, Donna Beveridge, Union Company. We're not skipping you, you're on my sheet. You're gonna mess up my slides. Whatever you want, I don't care. I have a microphone.
Just want to give you an update on Baum Industrial Park. We started out with 60 acres. It's out behind Fleetwood Plant. We have been selling to local expanding businesses, and we are down to about only 9 acres left, which is a couple of different lots. Both of those do have first right on them. And so there's a Senate bill, it's called Senate Bill 2 that has come out. We applied for that. It's where 2 counties in Oregon can rezone up to 40 acres in 10 different areas. So right now our planner and our planning commission is working on that so that we can find some more areas that we can zone for businesses and commercial. Like I said, we're almost completely out of industrial and we have 0 commercial in the county. So we're also talking with every city, because we don't want to be in competition with the cities, to make sure that they're looking at their zoning plans. If a new business or an existing business wants to expand in our county, I don't want to have to say no. One of the problems that you guys probably all know is we have a lot of job openings right now, probably around 500. I don't know, the employment office will probably talk to us about that, but there's no place to live in Union County right now. So we are also working on rezoning for housing, and I know that a lot of the cities are doing the same thing. So it's kind of a catch-22. We have job openings, but really no place for people to live. People like Timothy, part of it's deciding who we want to be as a county, and what we like about our area. But so we want to make sure that we're very thoughtful in our planning, not just rushing into it and doing things that we're sorry for later. So it's that's one of the things we're working on with the Baum Industrial Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. All right, our next speaker from OTEC, Tucker Billman.
Thank you all for being here, and thanks for the opportunity to tell you about some of our programs. I will try to stay away from you to avoid feedback. I will go to this side. It's going to be worse over here. Is it worse? It will be worse here, won't it? I guess I need to stay here, don't I? Ah, I see. Good to know. Sorry, I don't do well standing still, guys, especially when I'm speaking, so I'll do my best. Yeah, next slide. So we have some things up here that you can look at. I will kind of go briefly through them, but just know that really the important message to get out today is that we are OTEC is a consumer-owned, member-owned electric cooperative. We exist for our communities. We serve our communities in more ways than just providing power. We are a community-owned resource that we try to deploy in ways that can benefit the health, vitality, and quality of life of our membership and our communities. And we do that in many ways, not just what you see up here. In my position, they hired me to be involved in community development projects, economic development projects. I work on housing issues, I work on workforce development issues, and I try to develop strong relationships between OTEC and our communities. And so if you have those sorts of projects you're working on and you want to know what role OTEC can play or how we can help, please find me. I've got cards on the table back there. Specifically to small businesses and how we like to try to be helpful, we have different rebate programs. I know some of you are familiar with those programs. The concept here with these rebate programs is that if you can go and replace equipment within your business, within your home that is more energy efficient, whether it's your appliances, your water heaters, your refrigerators, what have you, if it's the heating and cooling systems you use, the windows that you install in your building, the insulation, if you use energy efficient appliances for that, we actually have rebate programs where you can come in and get money back from OTEC. I always recommend reaching out to OTEC first so that you can learn about those programs and learn about what appliances qualify. We have information back there as well. There's quick note cards that you can look at that kind of explains the process for getting that money. Will you go ahead and move us forward real quick? This is an example of a rebate that we did for the LeGrand School District. I don't actually know the details. I will be honest with you, I'm not the energy efficiency expert. Our energy efficiency expert is actually based in John Day. And so she was not able to make it up this evening. But she was able to work with the city or the LeGrand School District and award them roughly $76,000 in rebate funds from projects that they did on energy efficiency work. You can see our CFO is up there handing the check to George Mendoza. So that's an example of a rebate program. We're also establishing a revolving loan fund that will be a low interest loan that is meant specifically for economic development projects to support community partners who are trying to do some capital stacking on projects. A good example of that is that we were able to pull together roughly $600,000 to help a rural fire protection district up in Baker County purchase a new fire station. And we're just in the beginning phases of that, but we'll have a low interest loan program that we can offer to members. they can come in as they're trying to start a business and apply for this loan and hopefully get some of the upfront capital to do that. So that's really what I have. Again, we have information back there, and if you're interested in learning more, please get a hold of me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tucker. Gonna stay? Yeah, make sure that stays up there. All right, our next speaker is from the Energy Trust, Karen Appler. That's all right, not everybody does, so you're good.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Karen Appler. I work for the Energy Trust of Oregon. I am a senior outreach manager, and I'm based in Pendleton, Oregon. Proud to say that pre-COVID, I was one of 2 people on the staff that didn't report to the Portland office every day. My role within the organization is a community connector. I work with customers at every single level. With the organization. I should tell you a little bit more about Energy Trust so that first part makes sense. Energy Trust is a nonprofit that was actually created by the state of Oregon to help the customers, the utility customers of the investor-owned utilities make investments in energy efficiency and renewable energy. So what does that mean? Essentially, for your purposes, we support Avista Natural Gas. So if you pay your utility bill to Avista and you have equipment that is powered by natural gas in your home or your business, you are eligible for our cash incentives, technical resources, and contractor connections. It's a really simple way. So I'll tell you a little bit more about specifics on the program, but that is a simple way. If you have that Avista connection, call us and talk to us about what you're thinking about doing. Also, in addition to myself, we have quite a few regionally based, what we call field staff, who are technical experts that can help you assess what your building needs are, whether it's your residence or your commercial property, to provide information about what kind of resources that we have available to you. We also have a network of locally based contractors in your region who are very familiar with our programs and can tell you what types of technical resources and incentives we have to offer. One thing, I realize that there are some virtual participants, but I was just curious out of the audience, how many of you are small business owners that are here tonight that are looking for resources? Great, and so the rest of you are service providers to small businesses, is that correct? Raise a hand, your service providers. Okay, great. Well, it's good for us all to know what each other has to offer. Specifically from the small business angle, thinking about your small business, we recognize 2 things. One, it's probably pretty likely that maybe you don't own the building that you're operating out of. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And the other is maybe you don't have a brick and mortar business yet. You're operating your business out of your home. And so I really wanted to emphasize that we have incentives and technical resources for your residents that you might be eligible for and want to consider. Apologies, I'm not sure what the feedback is going on here. But the programs that we have to just think about your energy usage, and sometimes energy efficiency can seem like a big upfront cost to bear, but when you really start doing the calculations, you recognize savings month over month, year over year, that really help you think about what your overhead costs might be and how to manage those overhead costs as it relates to the rest of your business budget. So again, the resources that we have can help you find out, 1, how much money you can save when you make that type of investment, but 2, help you consider that investment in relation to other business costs that you have. So for commercial buildings program, we have 2 different tracks of entry. One is a standard incentive, which I'd like you to think about that like a menu. If you purchase a certain type of equipment, you qualify for a certain cash incentive from us. Those are pretty basic and straightforward, and it just is based on the energy efficiency rating of the piece of equipment that you're buying. So again, thinking about gas equipment in your home, gas furnaces, gas boilers in commercial properties. If your home or business is gas heated, We have incentives for things like windows and insulation. The other process we have is a custom incentive, where if you have a brick and mortar building that you own and you want to make an investment in, we can come in and do what we call a walkthrough assessment, where we look at the building equipment, your building envelope, and we provide you with a report that tells you the types of upgrades you could consider making, and then the incentives that we would have to help you make those upgrades. And we also have something similar to that process for your home, where we would have a third-party person come in. For the community of Union County, it would be a community-based organization. They would do a walk through your home and provide you a little report that tells you the types of investments that you could make, and then the incentives and technical resources we would have to support you. We also have incentives for new commercial projects. They are at two different levels. One, we do something called an early design assistance, which allows you to meet with us, allows us to review your building plans, and then tell you incentive pathways you could consider. This process, we actually pay for your time to convene and talk with you, your architect, any of the key trades that are working on your project. We have that same process for new residential construction as well. And we also do have incentives for industrial and agricultural. Most of those incentives that would be for natural gas in this region would be things like greenhouse heating, but if you have other things like equipment upgrades, controls, operation and maintenance for facilities that are heated with Avista natural gas, please get a hold of us and we can talk about what those look like too. We also have programs and support for communities. I mentioned some of the technical assistance, which includes the building reviews that we do. We do also strategic energy management, so that's a cohort-based model. It's kind of a neat thing. Larger employers tend to sign up for this. It basically helps organizations, thinking about like Eastern Oregon University or even the school district could enroll in the program. They would do assessments of their buildings. And the model essentially looks at what's the low-hanging fruit to achieve energy savings up to what they would need to identify for capital improvement projects and what it would take to accomplish those. And for the Strategic Energy Management Program, we pay the participants to reach milestone achievements, but then we also have money for internships to help support any type of data entry or data that's related to the energy efficiency projects. Last, I wanted to talk about another program that we have. It's called a Working Together Grant. It's a new process that Energy Trust has just entered into. We look to award nonprofit organizations. So if you are also working on a nonprofit in the community who wants to work on some energy efficiency projects or provide energy efficiency education to the community, we can award up to $10,000 for you to take on that activity. The funding mechanism for that is pretty loose, so if you're just wanting to convene a group of folks and it's a group of working moms that maybe don't have daycare and would be appreciative of a dinner while they receive information, we can cover all the costs related to that. So if you're interested more in that, we actually just had our second round of applications come through. We'll have another one beginning in 2023. But all of this is really just a long way of saying, if you have a project and you have Avista Natural Gas, I've got business cards in the back, we've got some flyers, but I really would love to talk to you about your specific project, your specific needs, your specific situation, and see what resources we have to help you. So, thank you all.
All right, thank you. We're going to take a 2-second break here while we run a new cable. All right, our next speaker from Certified Personnel, Beverly Lewis-Knott. Thank you. Come I didn't do too bad, did I?
Didn't do too bad.
It's phonetically spelled out on my sheet here.
Good. Well, Donna, thank you for getting us together. I think this is important to see all the different programs out there. Certified personnel, I started with them in 1992, 30 years ago. We are private, for-profit. We are in Island City, and Island City is very welcoming to businesses. We are a staffing agency, and we do many different things. Staffing agencies have a temporary, where we have employees who just want temporary work. They want to come and go, be flexible. They want a variety of duties because they may get bored with doing the same thing all the time. So therefore, they like the temporary work. So a person comes to certified personnel seeking employment. We give them an application. If we have an employer's application that they would like to fill out rather than our generic, they may do so if their skills and education fits that need. And from there, we go and do an interview. We do background checks. We do UAs, and we will also do a legal background check to see, you know, if they are wanting to go into banking, to see if they are bondable. So this person will give us an idea how they would like to be contacted. If they just want to do temporary work, don't lock me into full-time work with an employer, then, you know, that's kind of what their schedule of work becomes. There is a permanent side to certified personnel, is when an employer would like to hire someone and they find that either they just don't have the time to thoroughly go through the process and maybe accept lots of applications and do the interviews. They come to us, and then we will collect applications from people who are already in our system, and then we will advertise to the outside to see if we can draw more people in. We will go through those applications and interview each one of them. We will do their background checks. We will also check with their previous employers to see what kind of an employee are they? Do they have the skills that they are stating on their application? And then we will have a panel and we will refer to the employer just the applications that meet his need. Therefore, that employer isn't inundated with unnecessary applications. So the permanent side is, you know, is a good way for an employer who doesn't feel like their skills are up to interviewing and hiring someone for their company. If I have to hire for myself, I'm terrible. I go for what I think is good, and then my office staff goes, I don't know what you were thinking, but we'll make the best of it. But so, you know, it is very gratifying to meet these people who are seeking employment. And a lot of times, people don't know how to be interviewed. And the interview doesn't know how to interview them, you know, so sometimes you have a thing that goes like yin and yang, and you're not really getting the best out of that person who's applying for work. They have to realize that it is a statement of their qualifications. It is not, you're not bragging, you're not boasting, you're just saying what you can do and how you can do it, and get that employer to ask you the right questions so that they can refine what they're looking for. We also have, the bigger part of our program is contracted projects. This is where we search out Oregon to see what kind of things are out there that need organized labor. We have put a group of people together who, through this process of interviewing, we can call upon any one of our employees and target an area of a project that is coming up. We have employers who travel Oregon and do different types of work. Therefore, when they are bidding on a job, they call us and say, how many of these kind of laborers or traffic control people do you have in this area? And would you be interested? So therefore, we can supplement their core group with a group of people who may come from Eastern Oregon and may go down to Southern Oregon or even the Portland area and work for a period of time. I do not believe that people should take their wages and go to have a job, to use their wages to have a job. I think that the traveling and the lodging and some of that needs to be built in, that employers do give to their employees. They give them company rigs, they give them a stipend, and we have done that same thing. What this helps with is people who really don't know what they want to do, but they are very good support people. You give them a leader and they will have a job briefing and they'll go out and do the task. We've been on fires on the Cascades. We was down on that project. We were helping with the cleanup crews, the timber people. We've been on derailments. We've been on tree planting when there has been different areas that have been targeted to rehabilitate. We also have a program that is for our youth. This program, we work with the Oregon State Forest Department, and they have the Ladd Marsh Project. So every summer, spring, we advertise to hire, depending on the funding, how many youth that are trying to get into the workforce. This has been very beneficial. They come to certified personnel and fill out an application, and they go through the interview process. And of course, these kids do not have a good working background, maybe chores at home, who cares? They go to church, just to see what kind of things that they've involved themselves in. And this is all evaluated to see if they would be good members of this youth group that will work for a summer out at Ladd Marsh and learn about that whole ecosystem and the birds. And it's been very rewarding. I have been with certified for that long. I would say that if you know somebody who wants a job, I know people aren't moving around much. I don't know what they're doing. But there are opportunities out there. Like Donna said, or someone mentioned that the employment office has X amount of jobs. Well, you can always find a job in Oregon. If you are someone who really wants to put an effort towards a company, you can find a job. Any questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our next speaker is Gina Perkins from EOU and the Small Business Development Center.
Hi there. Thank you so much for inviting us to come this evening. So my name is Gina Perkins. I'm the Assistant Director at the Small Business Development Center, which is located on Geckler Lane in the Integrated Service Building. We are one of 20 centers across the state of Oregon. Small Business Development Centers are across the United States and in several territories. Our primary role is to provide free and confidential business advising and training opportunities. However, within the network, there's a broad resource of services that are offered, including the Global Trade Center, the Market Research Institute, which is located at Southern Oregon University, cybersecurity, small business management, which is a program that is an 8-month course that brings a person, from concept to launch of their business. There is the Business Resiliency Planning Division, which of course with the pandemic, that has become very vital. We have the Disaster Response Assistance Service Program, a special CCB program, so for those who would like to become licensed contractors, there's a whole program that's offered by one of our centers, and succession planning. And it doesn't mean that clients from this center need to travel. One thing we all got very good at during the pandemic were Zoom meetings and online. But a lot of those resources we can get for you. For instance, information through the Market Research Institute. We simply provide information to them about your business or your idea. Perhaps you're wanting to put together a feasibility study, and then Southern Oregon University will compile all of this information, do the data research for you, and give you a very comprehensive report. So we are funded through Eastern Oregon University. Each one of the centers is located either on a community college campus or with a university. Only 2 of the centers in Oregon are with a university, ours and then the Southern Oregon Small Business Development Center. Other major funders are the Small Business Administration, so we have access to all of their programs and trainings as well that we can provide information to for clients, and then Business Oregon. So our center, each center has their areas of expertise. Our center statewide, even though we're a small center, we serve, by the way, just to backtrack for a second, we serve all of Union County, Morrow County, Grant County, and Wheeler County. Blue Mountain Community College, for instance, serves Umatilla County, Wallowa County, and Baker County. So I'm not quite sure how they divided those up or came with that, but that's how that works. Anyway, our center is known for capital formation, and we're one of the leaders in the state for that, which means we help get money to business owners and entrepreneurs. Last year, we were able to facilitate over $12 million in working with other partners like Northeast Oregon Economic Development, Morrow Development, Umatilla Electric Cooperative, just depending on which areas. We're excited to be able to hopefully work with Oregon Trail Electric with their new program. This year, and of course it varies from year to year depending on the projects, but we're on track by the end of the year to provide about $10 million. Now when I say provide, we don't as an institution have funds. SBA does loan guarantees, but we work with a lot of different gap funding programs, what they're called. So the programs that LaDawn McElligott was talking about, or the ones through Northeast Oregon Economic Development. So this year, I just pulled up the numbers. I forgot to bring them, but just to give you an idea, the amount of clients we serve this year, to date, we're at about 240, with about 800 hours worth of advising hours spent with clients. So we do a lot of work, and we're there, you know, to serve everyone. We help people with through all the different stages of a business. So from the concept to launch, expansion, renewal, and then with exit strategies for those who may be looking at selling or unfortunately sometimes liquidating. So I have one of these folders which provides some more information on the programs I talked about, as well as a business card. And certainly if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or visit with me here. So thank you again for inviting us.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's going to feed back on me, I knew it. All right, my name is Scott Newman. I am the Executive Director at the Chamber of Commerce in Union County. I was in your spot 30 years ago. I was trying to start a small business, and I wish that there would have been events like this for me to get the answers on where we can get credits, where we can get funding. That's why I think this is so important tonight. So what exactly does the Chamber of Commerce do? I get that question a lot. My wife was one of them, actually. So the Chamber of Commerce is a member organization. Currently, we're at about 300 members in Union County. We work to support economic development, strategic growth, and tourism in Union County. The Chamber of Commerce receives funding through our membership plans. We have special VIP memberships. We get money from the county, and we do get money from the city of LeGrand. We're also managed by a 13-member board and the Union County Tourism Promotion Advisory Committee, and we have 3 staff members in our office. So I'm here to tell you tonight a little bit about why joining the Chamber of Commerce is important to your business, and a couple of things about our membership levels. We do have membership levels for all businesses, from single people up to 500 employees. We cover everybody, and everybody gets an equal share in our chamber. The chamber can be a great resource for every business. There are many reasons to join the chamber, so I'm going to give you just a couple real quick. First of all, networking. I think networking is very important to running a successful business. It's a great way to meet other business owners. I certainly don't have all the answers. Most people don't have all the answers. The only people that I know that have all the answers is my wife, and so we don't argue with her. But anyway, asking questions is very important. Don't be afraid to ask questions. We're in a small county. We're not enemies. We're all friends here. We're all in the same boat, is something I like to say. So don't be afraid to reach out. If you know somebody that's doing something similar or you can relate to your business, please reach out, ask questions if you don't know. Reach out to the chamber, reach out to the county. There's lots of people out there that want to help. Another thing we like to talk about is membership has its privileges. I may have borrowed that line. I do apologize for that. But we do offer some special discounts, say on advertising. You get included in our adventure guide and our relocation guide, which is currently in development, and on our website. The ability to place your business flyer in our office. We get a lot of traffic in our office, and you're welcome to bring in a flyer about what you do. We are happy to hand that out. We get tons of phone calls every day. Some of them are like, what's the phone number of this place? But a lot of people come in that are tourists as well, and we are more than happy to hand out your information. You get the ability to help sponsor events such as this. That's a big deal to get your business name out there. Our social media marketing is a big part of what we do to help your business. And you also do get access to group health insurance. So a lot of small businesses have problems getting group health insurance or health insurance at all because it's very expensive. We do have a program. It's with other chambers in the state through Bend. We do offer small business health insurance as something that you can take advantage of. A couple of facts about members, businesses that are members. Basically, 51% of businesses that are members get increased favorability versus those that are not. 47% increase in consumer awareness versus a business that's not part of a chamber. 54% increase in local reputation versus a business that is not a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Those stats come from the American Business Magazine, so it's not something I just made up. Those are real stats. Being a member of a chamber is very important to your business. We have lots of events that we host. Coming in 2023, we're going to start Union County Young Professionals. We're going to continue our business after hours. We have 2 banquets that we run. We're going to have a special VIP member banquet coming up next fall, and business expos like this that we like to partake in. And these are available to all of our members. Professional development is another big part of what we do. The Chamber offers classes, leadership classes, business development workshops, and other opportunities. Never, ever stop learning. It's a very important thing. Always find ways to reach out. Just get as much information as you can. The Chamber also does a lot with tourism, and I know our good friends over at EOVA are going to be up shortly, so I won't stay too much on that. But if you are a member, you do get in our adventure guide. We distributed 15,000 copies this year throughout the state, and I know EOVA also distributes a large number of magazines, and you can get your business listed there. Also on our social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and our Chamber website. We get a lot of traffic on our Chamber website as well. We also have play a large role in agribusiness in Union County, and a couple of the events there were the Farm Trail. We are having the Farmer Merchant Banquet. If you've heard about that, maybe that's coming up in 2 weeks. So reach out to the Chamber. We're just about out of tickets, or we are out of tickets, but if you want to go, reach out to our offices. So I could go on for hours about all the benefits of being a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Ultimately, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. We can only do so much, but if you put in some effort, you're going to get a lot back out of it. If you have any questions on becoming a member, Susan is in the back there. I'm here. There's information on the back table. We have brochures if you want to become a member. We highly encourage it. It does pay off. Our membership fees are small, but it becomes a big part of your business. So I want to thank you, and if you have any questions, I'm walking around, so more than happy to help you out, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Donna, come back up.
So the lady that was going to come and talk to us about the Bureau of Labor and Industries just gave me some information to share with you guys. So if you have employment questions, BOLI is your employment assistance place, and they want to help you with any information that you need. It's all free. Online or email, it's all confidential. They'll answer your questions about employment laws. You should know that there's a clear firewall between the compliance experts and the agency's enforcement teams, so no one will be penalized for trying to do the right thing for their employees. Employment law experts also conduct nearly 200 public seminars and customized online trainings every year. That helps both new human resource professionals and HR veterans looking to stay updated on the laws affecting their organization. It also produces work site notices and posters that you've probably seen in all your business places, and they're easy to understand and in different languages. They have handbooks to provide employers with essential compliance, and she wanted me to share with you that they will be having a conference on November 9th and 10th, Wednesday and Thursday. This year's conference will be 100% virtual, so if you're wanting to check into some of that. The price is $350, and that'll be coming up. So if you want to go to the BOLI website, if you're interested in that. Thank you.
Yeah, no kidding, nice.
There we go. If you haven't eaten yet, please head over there and do that, if you would. Next up, we have Matt Wilson from WorkSource Oregon.
Well, good evening. Thank you for having us come and speak. It's good to see everybody. And I guess it's pretty safe to say that it's easy to hire these days. No, not at all. And we know that there is lots of changes in the employment side of things when we look at businesses and hiring folks. And some of the things that we do at WorkSource can really benefit you. First of all, what we do at WorkSource is free to you because you already have prepaid for our services through the taxes that you pay. And so coming into our office doesn't cost you a dime. It only costs you a little bit of time to sit down with us, talk with us about what your needs are. Let us help to explore how we can help meet those needs. We can meet those needs in a variety of ways for you. We work with job seekers individually that we are trying to get connected to great employers like yourself. And how we do that, we can help with customized recruitments. You would sit down with our team of business specialists that would talk with you about what your need is, how can we promote that, how can we advertise that for you through our labor exchange, and get you connected with job seekers that are looking for great employment. There's a lot of other things that our team can do for you. We have a special team that works with folks to get on-the-job training. So if there are folks that don't quite meet exactly what you're looking for, but you would like to bring them on and train them, well, we have opportunities to get the OJT going for you that we would help pay for some of the wages while they're going through this training period with you to get them up to where you would want them to be. And that is a great opportunity for you to explore if this person's right for you in the OJT opportunities. And so we have special folks that would love to talk with you about that. We have other incentives that you may not know about, like the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. This is a tax credit that the federal government gives out that if there are certain groups of folks, if you hire them, that you would be eligible for a tax credit to you by hiring folks like veterans. If you've ever hired a veteran and you've not taken advantage of the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, well, you just left money on the table that you could have received. But there's a hitch to this. There's some paperwork that needs to be done before you hire those individuals, and we would love to help walk you through what that paperwork looks like, because it's not very much, but it will give dividends down the road when you hire these folks. And there's a lot of different classifications. I do have a great pamphlet that talks about what those groups of folks that if you're hiring them, you're not taking advantage of this opportunity tax credit, then again, you're leaving money on the table for yourselves that you should be reaping that benefit. So I'd love to talk with you more about that. I'll drop some pamphlets back there so you can take those. Come into the WorkSource centers. We have 8 of them around the state and around Eastern Oregon. We got a lot around the state, but around Eastern Oregon. So come in, talk to our groups. Another program that I would like to share with you, because it doesn't get a lot of traction, and I think it's because a lot of people just don't know about it, but we have a program called WorkShare. WorkShare is an opportunity if you are a business that looks like they may need to lay off some of your folks for a time because the nature of your business or the economy is needing you, you're just saying, I have to do this for a little bit. Well, there's a program called WorkShare that allows you to maybe scale back on your hours with your employees, and it allows your employees then to tap into the unemployment system at the same time And so that is a help for you to keep retaining your workforce and allowing the unemployment side of the system to, because you as businesses pay into the unemployment system, right? And that allows you to tap into that to help your folks financially while you keep working with them on a scaled back basis. We would love to talk with you about that program. It is a really good program. Again, there's some paperwork. Of course, when you're dealing with government, there's always a little bit of paperwork that needs to happen. But our folks are really good at walking you through those things and getting you what you need. Our custom business, our custom recruitments, I just really want to just give a shout out to our business team here in Eastern Oregon. They really are bridging a lot of gaps in their customizing recruitments for you. They have a lot of connections, not only in this community, but in Baker, in Pendleton, in Hermiston, all the way down to Ontario, Canyon City, and Burns. We have a great network that you can tap into, and we would love to be a part of helping you do that and exploring the options there. We have some great training opportunities. If you have some staff that you're working with that may need some soft skill training, we can help you with soft skill training with your folks. Come down, talk with us about that and how we could help you with some training needs of your own folks. Another idea that we've been trying to really pitch out there for employers is retention. How do you retain the employees, the great employees that you currently have? One of the things that we're trying to get folks to do in their business is do a retention interview with your folks. What are they saying would help them stay with you? Then you are informed about how to better help the folks that are working for you in that process. So there's lots of things that we would love to come alongside you. Remember, it doesn't cost you any money to come into our office and talk with us. We don't have a box there that says, put $5 here, $10 there. No, we're going to work with you. And we would also love to come into your business. Call us. We'll come down to you. You don't even have to come to us. We'll come to you to talk with you. We would love to tour your business so we get to know it, and then we can market that to the job seekers that we are currently working with. So we would love to work with you. So thank you so much. And I do have business cards as well. Thanks.
All right, our next speaker is Timothy Bishop, the Economic Development Director from the Grand.
Good evening. So in addition to being your paparazzi for the evening, I'm also the Economic Development Director for Baker County. So most of the resources that we have in control from the city are really come through urban renewal. So those are a couple of grant programs, mostly designed around development projects. So there's a Call for Projects grant that's up to $75,000 to help renovate buildings, redevelop properties mostly. We also have developed and are marketing the business park out on Geckler and Highway 30. So that's new land for business recruitment. And as part of that, we also have urban renewal funds set aside with an incentive up to $200,000 to recruit or attract traded sector business partners. So most of what those resources will do is really help existing businesses develop projects, rehab buildings or their building space, or attract new businesses, new development. We also, through that urban renewal program, have a smaller program, a facade grant program, that is designed specifically for smaller projects, particularly in the downtown area, smaller storefront renovation type projects to make sure that businesses can afford to invest in the appearance of their retail space. So in addition, though, to those funding sources, a lot of my time is really spent with business owners, trying to really connect with a lot of the folks we've heard from tonight. And when somebody comes into our office and they're looking for tools and resources, helping develop that list of what's available, who do they contact. So a couple of bigger projects that we are working on that are more business focused. Several years ago, we opened right before COVID the Ignite Center for Entrepreneurship Development. We are continuing to operate that facility, and as part of that, right now we're working with a Business Oregon grant to really conduct more of a entrepreneur ecosystem analysis, really getting out, talking to a lot of our small entrepreneurs, our micro businesses, a lot of those businesses that have started a home-based business during COVID are maybe now thinking about how do they scale up into a storefront or at least get out of their garage to that next level of business capacity. So we've spent the summer doing a lot of that work. A lot of those folks were invited here this evening. I recognize a couple of folks that we've spoken to over the summer that are here this evening. But ultimately, that work will help us kind of reevaluate the tools that we have in the toolbox, particularly related to the Ignite Center for Entrepreneurship Development, but also in terms of general economic development tools. Do we have the right tools in the toolbox based on what we're learning that entrepreneurs need in terms of ability to start, to finance, to access capital, to scale their business from startup into a storefront or into a standalone location. So we're kind of in that evaluation and starting to implement phase. A couple of areas where we are making some interesting movement. Part of my job, I also serve on the Main Street Board of Directors, and I know Brent Clapp's going to come up and talk a little bit about Main Street. But I work really closely with their Economic Vitality Committee, and one of the things they're working on right now is really assessing downtown, doing some cluster
And I just want to kind of emphasize too that, really with the Eastern Oregon Visitors Association, we do really promote the visitor experience. And again, driving visitation, increasing the number and lengths of stays in our region, but also looking at those destination development opportunities, our human resources, and really creating a positive impact. And so on the topic of economic impact, and I just wanted to share a couple of kind of updates on what the tourism industry in Oregon looks like, and this kind of trends for Eastern Oregon as well. But visitors traveling to and throughout Oregon represent an important component of our state's economy. Travel originating in domestic or international markets generates valuable business sales, payroll, employment, and tax receipts for the state, as well as for local jurisdictions. With many locations within the state serving as travel destinations for both Oregon residents and out-of-state visitors. For our region in particular, Eastern Oregon, kind of our key target markets are the Portland metro area, Tri-Cities, and Boise. We also have some smaller markets out of Central Oregon, Salt Lake City, Seattle, things like that. So really looking at our networks, where we are reaching people and getting them excited about our region and Union County specifically. In 2021, the Oregon travel economy did recover much of what it lost in 2020. There was a strong demand for overnight accommodations, and increased commodity prices led to large gains in visitor spending. This calendar year, I am excited to share that visitation in Union County saw significant growth in the off-season. So really the months of January to May, where those winter months saw about a 13% increase in visitation, with the month of May actually getting a boost of 35% from last year. So it's, that's one of the kind of components of really tracking what is the impact of tourism in our area, and what are the stories that we're telling. So that kind of switches gears to our resources. What do we have to offer you? Whether you're a business or an organization or a community, municipality, we kind of cover a range of things, but one of the things that I really like to emphasize within our organization is this overarching theme of collaboration and partnerships. That's really a big emphasis of the work that we do. We kind of focus in three broad areas when we talk about kind of the tourism and promotion. And those areas are outdoor recreation, what we call agritourism, so our agricultural tourism, and then our cultural and heritage assets. That also includes our arts, things like that as well. But kind of within each of these realms, there's different kind of focuses. So outdoor recreation, obviously what comes top of mind is we have Mira, we have these great outdoor businesses in Union County. And so it's really looking at connecting all of those dots. We have some great tour operators that serve our region, and those opportunities for entrepreneurship to really elevate the visitor experience, but also our local communities as well. For the focus of agritourism, that really is geared currently more towards our local farmers, our producers, farmers markets, things like that. It's really telling that agricultural story. And one of our kind of product development areas with that within Union County has been around the Grand Ronde Farm Trail. And so this is a self-guided brochure that visitors and locals alike can participate in, and just really showcases the product offerings of our region. So it spans throughout most of the county, with some clusters in Union and Cove and LaGrande as well. But again, it's these kind of connectors of people, resources, businesses to tell a larger story. And then with our culture and heritage, this is everything from our museums to, like I said, our arts museums, things like that. But it's also telling those stories, that really play into our cultural heritage. So that's just kind of a broad spectrum. And then, obviously marketing is a big component of what we do. And there's really a variety of ways that businesses of all sizes, organizations can really plug in to our organization. The first that I like to say for businesses specifically is ensuring that you are listed on our consumer website, visit easternoregon.com. For all of our tourism-facing businesses, so those are our brick and mortar retail businesses, lodging, restaurants, things like that. Those listings also show up on TravelOregon.com, so our websites are integrated. So I like to mention that because it's an efficiency thing, which I really appreciate. But it's a great way to make sure you're being seen on multiple platforms. And I will say, in terms of search engine optimization, Travel Oregon's website gets a lot of traction and traffic. So that's something that I like to do. An easy way you can see if you're listed on there, go to TravelOregon.com. In the search bar, put in your business name. If you don't show up, get a hold of myself, and we will get that to happen. And then our website, visiteasternoregon.com, we do have a few kind of broader businesses on there. So we do have some business centers, different things like that, really where, so like for example, the Ignite Center, something that could have a visitor facing component. So if someone is traveling from out of town, they need a workspace, things like that, really making sure that we have those resources for our visitors. What else? A few other things I wanted to touch on. So we do have a regional grant program. We launched this in the fall of 2019, and we closed our second round last fall of 2021. We will be opening it again in fall of 2023, but this is open to for-profit and nonprofit businesses. They're on the smaller grant side, so projects, I guess, historically, they are about $1,000 to $7,500 in terms of project, and they're really meant to align with 4 key initiatives that we have. One of the big initiatives, or kind of the kind of output of the grant, is to increase visitation from outside 50 miles. That's kind of our what we consider out of town. And then there's a few other initiatives as well that are that cover in that program. And that information is available on our industry website, eova.com, which is really meant for our industry partners, and more of the resource side where our consumer website, Visit Eastern Oregon. A few other areas, kind of from the marketing and promotion side, is our annual visitor guide. I do have our current copy on the back table there, so please take them. And this is really for the 11 county area, but we have a pretty wide circulation. We do print 100,000 copies, and we have a couple different contracts that have key placement throughout the state of Oregon, all of Oregon's 8 welcome centers. We also have placement at the Boise Airport, in Tri-Cities area, and a few others anyway. But anyway, just to say that there's a large reach on those. We also use them when we participate in business-to-business trade shows, consumer trade shows, and we also get requests on through our website, as well as Travel Oregon getting requests through their website. So they have a pretty wide reach. And then I also wanted to just mention that Travel Oregon recently has launched some different co-op marketing opportunities. These can be found on their industry website, which is industry.traveloregon.com. And they kind of range in size and scope, but there are some good entry-level ones that businesses can participate, businesses, chambers can participate in. And again, it's just kind of these different areas, channels that they've kind of done that vetting, and makes it a little more turnkey for our local partners. And yeah, the last thing I just want to emphasize for communities, businesses, organizations, everyone, we really want to hear your stories. That's really where we kind of, want to share those for you, and want to hear them from you. So we're, telling your story on a larger scale. With that, I think that's all I have. So again, thanks so much. And I believe, Brent, you're up next.
All right, our next speaker is Brent Clapp from LeGrand Main Street.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brent Clapp from LeGrand Main Street downtown, LeGrand's Downtown Association. When a person is considering relocating to Union County, and LeGrand specifically, there are some key factors that brings them to our area. One, of course, is the beautiful surroundings. The second is the educational system. And right there close is a vibrant and beautiful downtown, and that's our focus. LeGrand Main Street downtown is best known for the activities of Crazy Days, downtown trick-or-treat, the Christmas parade, and the tree lighting ceremonies, and of course, Eastern Oregon Beer Fest. All of those activities spin out of our promotional committee. But these activities are only a few of the things that we do. Our Economic Vitality Committee works closely with the City of LeGrand Economic Development to bring education, training, and collaboration to these businesses in the downtown area and beyond. Our Design Committee has input into the many beautiful elements that you see in downtown and that makes it appealing. The flower baskets that line the streets that come out in the spring and go away in the fall are one of those things. Our Outreach Committee works on fundraising and expanding our engagement into the community. And since we are part of the Oregon Main Street, or the State Oregon Main Street organization over the last 6 years, we have applied for on behalf of historical restoration projects in LeGrand and have received over $500,000 in grants that has gone directly into our downtown. That's a big win. People at times are understandably confused knowing the difference between Union County Chamber of Commerce and LeGrand Main Street downtown. Scott and I are different looking, but I will go on and tell you different things. They have similar missions, but different geographical areas of interest. Main Street specifically serves the downtown corridor, and the Chamber of Commerce serves the entire county. It's clear that every organization is rebuilding in this post-COVID time. LeGrand Main Street downtown is not any different, but we have a plan. We have a new crop of board members coming on and a new executive director starting in 2 weeks. And I'm pleased to announce here for the first time that we have extended an invitation to Monica McLaughlin to be our next executive director, and she has accepted. We're looking for committed committee and board members that are dedicated to continuing to make LeGrand Town a vital and exciting place to be. We have a great appreciation and honor for those businesses that have chosen to locate their businesses in downtown. We have challenges and we're continuing to work on those, but I want to tell you that when I talk to friends and people that visit LeGrand for the first time, they always say how beautiful and quaint and how friendly the people are. My father used to say it's a lot easier to be a critic than it is a craftsman. We need volunteers and helpers and craftsmen to help us continue to develop the beautiful area that we live in. It's easy to take for granted. It's easy to take it for granted if you've been here for a while. But we have a beautiful downtown, and it's a vital part of recruiting families and professionals into our area, which is vital to the livelihood of our businesses and corporations that call home. We invite you to invest yourself in with us and to be a part of these opportunities by jumping into one of the 4 committees. There's a place for you and we need you. And I hope that you will consider not only what a vibrant and beautiful downtown does for your business, but what you can do as a volunteer to plug into our organization and continue to be one of the craftsmen that we need. Thank you.
All right, I just want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. On behalf of the committee that put this together, Donna Beveridge, and I know there's about 4 or 5 other ones of us that sat down in some meetings and put this together. So I'm going to thank Donna for kind of taking the lead on it. Please help yourself to some food, because I don't want to take it all home. I don't have room in my refrigerator. And please go to the back table and grab some information. If anyone has any questions on how to get a hold of anybody that spoke tonight, certainly reach out to the chamber. We are more than happy to help you out. Yes, we are very sorry to be losing Monica, but congratulations to her. So on behalf of everybody, I want to thank you for coming out tonight. I want to thank all the speakers as well. And if there's anything we can do, all you have to do is let us know. Thank you.